this time in the opposition, the Social Democratic Party. Up till this moment, it's interesting that the leadership crisis has not been resolved, despite the fact that INEC has now recognized Mr. Shehu Gabam as the national chairman of the party officially. Mr. Shehu Gabam joins me virtually now. Welcome to Political Paradigm, Mr. Chairman.
My great pleasure. Thank you.
I think it's interesting that when we thought this was over, that it's now resurfaced. I know you're aware that yesterday Professor Gombe and 11 members of his team went to INEC to question why you've been reinstated as chairman. They insist that the NEC ratified your suspension and expulsion and that INEC was there to monitor it. And also a formal letter has been communicated to INEC on this issue. How do you respond to this new concerns raised by the Professor Gombe-led group?
In the first place, it's a completely rubbish. It does not have any local standing, absolutely. The meeting of yesterday was at their own convenience. INEC officially invited us on the 12th to meet with us and do everything humanly possible to see if they can reconcile the differences in terms of the party coming together, not leadership of the party. And we were there on the 12th of May. We interfaced with the INEC for over 2 hours. They couldn't make it. They wrote a letter to INEC that they cannot make it on that specific day. And of course, the date of yesterday, which was communicated to us, we're having congresses nationwide. So we told INEC that we cannot make it because we are monitoring congresses nationwide and our upcoming convention tomorrow. And we appeal to the INEC to set another date for the interface. The whole essence is to see how INEC can bring possible peace because of the dynamic nature of the INEC chairman, his flexibility, and bring everybody together. Now, the issue of suspension, I don't know where they get the power and authority from. These are people that smuggle themselves into the NWC, and all INEC correspondents state the fact that they were not legitimately there. The documents are there, transmitted between INEC and the party, and it was part of what INEC submitted in the court. There was no process that brought them into the office. There was no meeting presided over by the chairman, NWC, that brought them into office. They smuggled themselves, generated crisis. That was exactly what happened. And it's a record. So I decided not to be elevating people who are seeking for relevance, concentrate on what we are doing. You can see that since we assumed SDP have bounced back, there's activities all over the place. All they specialize is propaganda, telling lies. I was there. When I was there on the 12th of May, we did not invite media. But when they were going yesterday, they invited media, and they were talking a lot of things that doesn't make sense to me. I'm not a newcomer in this politics. I was grown by career politicians. So I'm not worried about bubbles and blackmails and so on and so forth. I'm not worried about it at all. It's part of the game. It will happen to any party that is strong and it's getting momentum. So there's nothing new about it.
What was the meeting with INEC about on the 12th?
The whole meeting is about trying to create some sort of reconciliation. INEC said clearly there is one leadership of the party which they recognize, which is me. And then the issue of statutory signature between the chairman and the secretary. The chairman is the chief executive officer of the party, whose signature is an executive signature. The secretary is an administrative secretary of the party. You know, before now, it was only chairman that signed documents to INEC, not secretaries. It was under Professor Mahmoud that introduced secretary signature to INEC, which is INEC guideline. You know, that's exactly what the situation is. So they invited us to see if they can bring us together, reconcile, and so on and so forth. Nothing more than that. That was what the invitation was all about. And they said 3 from my own side, 3 from their own side. So you can see yesterday they packed everybody to INEC. And I'm sure maybe you heard what happened because that's not what the data stated. They stated that 3 from my own side, 3 from there to avoid rowdiness or unnecessary arguments and so on and so forth. The records are very straight. A convention in 2022 elected officials of the party. The police wrote to INEC to know the leadership of the party. INEC wrote back to the police stating the leadership, authentic leadership of the party. So it's impersonation going on. And this is unfortunately the kind of situation we find ourselves in the country today. People can come and jump into party, create crisis, and nothing happens.
Does it bother you that INEC monitored that meeting which upheld your expulsion? Also, I recall that there's a group called Movement for Credible Elections that has questioned INEC's speedy reinstatement of you and the rest of the National Working Committee members, the other two that were initially suspended on the grounds of mismanagement of funds. I want to ask you this question because it would be good to know what court order that INEC obeyed in reinstating you, because the group insists you were not mentioned in that suit at all. You were not a party to the case and your name was not mentioned. So what court order did INEC rely on?
I don't know what court order they're talking about. In the first place, the Court of Appeal in the unanimous judgment set aside the court order of Justice Witte, which said in one of their prayers that Sadiq should be recognized as acting chairman of the party. That wasn't the substance of the case. The substance of the case is the by-election issue. Leadership of the party wasn't involved in the case. They inserted a prayer. Now, the Court of Appeal unanimously said that there is no jurisdiction, is perverse and set aside. And in three places they mentioned, Sadiq is not known, is not the chairman of the party. The judgment is very clear, it's one of the most decisive judgments. So INEC knew that the whole thing is clear. They've been told no process produced Sadiq, and their document also indicate the same. Now, the second issue you raised about financial mismanagement is one of the most scandalous things. The National Secretary of the party, Dr. Oluogunloye, wrote to the Nigerian police, the IG of police, stating that there is financial mismanagement. The police are investigating the case as I'm talking to you. Now, instead of allowing the police to do their job, they went and set up a kangaroo committee. And that committee went ahead and said that we committed offense, they suspended us, they even did a white paper. And then in law, once you submit your complaint to the police, you have no right to go and set up a parallel investigation panel. Police is the only one vested with power and responsibility to investigate complaints. So, and it's a violation of the Police Act. It's imprisonment by implication. So they set up their own convenient, choosing people as a panel to investigate the financial mismanagement they allege. Don't forget also that the party account was audited by INEC, both external and internal auditors. Not only that, the law said that you must publish in 2 national dailies. We publish in 2 national dailies. We are one of the parties that have complied. Now, because they want to create artificial problem, they said that even INEC did not investigate. They did all sort of things. It's one of the most irrational behavior I have seen in recent times. I did not send the editors. It's INEC that always send editors to political parties to edit party accounts. So the case is before the police. But because of the abuse and disrespect to institutions, they still went ahead. The Sadiq that you mentioned went and complained to a magistrate that there was a financial mismanagement. And when those things took place, he was not even in the party. He was not part of the entire process. He was being used to complain that there was a financial mismanagement. The main person who complained is the secretary, Dr. Oluogunloye, the same person that is being investigated for perjury, which the former president alleged he forged his signature, Federal Executive Council decision on Mambila project. So these are multiple of layers of issues they are running away from, apart from, just doing a lot of propaganda here and there. On that day, when we went to the magistrate, we found out they brought a lot of journalists, cameras, and what have you, stating that I'm going to be sent to prison. For what?
But you were remanded and then eventually granted bail.
No, it's normal. When there's an allegation, you appear. The judge is a decisive judge, very courageous judge. They applied that I should not be on bail. She said no, it's a bailable offense, and she said I should go. She fixed 25th of this month for hearing. And what is interesting is that she asked their lawyer to write to her where she have the jurisdiction to listen to the case. And my lawyer to write to her and tell her she have no jurisdiction to listen to the case. And don't forget the 2026 Electoral Act as amended states clearly that no court have jurisdiction to listen to internal affairs of political parties. So the judge told both the lawyers to write to her from their own end where she have the jurisdiction to listen to the case.
Yeah,
From her own end,
they insist that this is not this is an issue of funds mismanagement. That is not just an internal crisis or affair of a party. And they also point to the fact that when the committee was set up to sort of investigate the missing funds, that you refused to honor the invitation.
Look at the police and whether they have the power to set up a parallel committee after officially complaining to the Nigerian police force. They don't have that power. That's number one. Because I don't rest memo as a chairman of the party. I don't rest memo. It is department that rests memo. And we have one account that we transact all that we do. The documents are before the police. Let them go and prove. They are the one to prove. He complained, the secretary complained, so he should go and prove his allegation. And I was on air, I was on your station. I said, I have submitted the entire party account to the police. I was on air, I was in your station, I was in other stations, that the entire accounts are with the police to investigate. So there is nothing to hide about it. So all departments submitted their requirement, approved, there was no forgery. If there is a forgery, let him prove there was a forgery.
Okay.
So the study you are talking about wasn't even part of the process. It was just being used. The secretary who made the allegation should go and substantiate. After all, it was at the same time an attempt to assassinate me took place, which we wrote to the police. My security were withdrawn. The complaint is still there before the police.
As far as the 2027 general election is concerned, especially with the presidential election, I want to get your thoughts on the process within your party, the status of your party for that election. Because I think Mr. Adewola Adebayo was here on one of our programs sometime last week to talk about his candidacy. What do you make of his candidacy?
I don't know anything about his candidacy. They went and organized a kangaroo convention in Bauchi, supported by the governor of Bauchi. And INEC did not go there to monitor it. And the law said INEC, this amended electoral act, INEC shall monitor all the activities. And I'm sure it was very clear to them, INEC took that position. We are having our convention by tomorrow. By the grace of God, our presidential candidate will emerge through a legitimate process. So I don't know about his emergence. There was no convention properly took place, recognized by INEC. Our timetable was published by INEC, and tomorrow we are going to conduct our convention and our primaries as well.
Well, you've mentioned the governor of Bauchi. He's not a member of your party. How did he get into the picture?
And that's why they went to him, because there's a form of kind of alliance between the APM, part of PDP factions, and Shehu Makinde is going to run. So they are trying to get some parties to be part of that alliance. That was the essence. He took the responsibility, the venue, the accommodation of those who went to conduct the convention in Bauchi State. Nothing more than that. It's purely about interest.
Oh, so you said there's an alliance ongoing between a faction of the Social Democratic Party and the APM, which is the party for Governor Bala Mohammed now and Shehu Makinde. Is that what you say? But you're not aware of it. And as far as court processes are concerned, an INEC recognition of you, that alliance is insignificant.
Absolutely insignificant. We are not part of it. I'm sure you have seen it on air, that alliance being mentioned. The Shehu Makinde faction of the PDP and the APM adopted by Governor Bala. And in trying to also get part of on that, why they went to do the convention in Bauchi State. And if you listen to their remark and appreciation to the governor, you will understand clearly that it was designed to be so. And that's not what SDP is known for. In the last presidential election, I nominated Adewale to be the presidential candidate. I don't think he will write his history without saying thank you to me, no matter what he thinks. What we always tell people is follow process. Don't rush the process.
Mr. Gabam, opposition parties are collaborating. They are going into coalitions. And ordinarily, anyone would be happy to have, two governors on their side. Are you dismissing the possibility of working with the APM where you have the likes of Shehu Makinde and Bala Mohammed, if perhaps they reach out to you, considering that you are now officially recognized by INEC? Or do you not want
First, there's not any conversation, so I don't want to...
Are you open to it? My question is, are you open to it?
Well, all politicians are open to genuine, sincere conversations in the overall national interest. But there was none before me right now. There are other approaches. So we are reviewing our situation. At the critical time, it's not about just me. We'll take a joint decision where necessary in the overall national interest.
All right. So as we wrap this up, because I wish we had you earlier, but for some technical reasons, we couldn't get you to join the conversation earlier. But as we wrap this up, where does this leave the SDP? Because we know that the SDP at one point was the home or the beautiful bride to opposition parties who were trying to look for a platform to unseat the All Progressives Congress. And all of a sudden, not only have they left the SDP, the SDP has now been fractionalized.
In the first place, like you mentioned, we built this institution, this political party, to be a daring party for Nigerians. We are happy that we did that. But it's not only SDP that have gone through crisis. Other parties have gone through a lot of crisis, are still going through a lot of crisis. Our own is not as bad as other parties. And immediately I came in, my aim is to restore the decency and the dignity of the party. And I'm happy that you can see everywhere the activity of the party is now virtually everywhere. Everything have picked up because we have the template. I have the template. They don't have the template. They came in and killed the party. If you are mentioning even opposition, they will not mention SDP as number 6. But when we were there, you cannot mention opposition, even at the point of PDP, without mentioning SDP. That was what we built, and that was the standard we built. We got senators elected, House of Reps, State Assembly, councillors, local government. But within a short period of time, they decimated those goodwill. Is what I'm trying to restore, and I'm happy that we're able to launch it very clearly, and a lot of people are trooping back. Those who left, some of them are returning. Every day we have such in the office, people getting their forms, preparing for primaries. So I'm very happy, I'm grateful to God that we are bringing the party back to the doorstep of the people.
Thank you very much for coming to speak with us on Political Paradigm.
I appreciate you, Terry. Thank you so much. I'm very sorry for the delay. It's circumstances beyond my control. I'm very sorry.
You're most welcome. Thank you very much.